Hello, my name is Joan. I want to share something with you. The story of my life, a story of the mistakes I made, the lessons I learned, and the truths that took me many years to understand. When I was young, I used to think I knew everything. I believed life was simple. I believed success was guaranteed if I worked hard enough. I believed time would always wait for me. I didn't understand patience, and I didn't respect experience. I thought advice was for people who were afraid to take risks. I thought slowing down was a weakness taught in my youth. I walked fast, spoke loudly, and decided quickly. I didn't think before I spoke, and I rarely listened when others talked. I wanted to prove myself, to friends, to family, to the world. I wanted recognition, I wanted respect, and most of all, I wanted to win. No matter the cost, I argued, often, with friends, with family, even with people who loved me. I believed being right was more important than being kind. I believed pride was strength. I didn't know that pride quietly destroys everything it touches. I chased money as if it were the answer to all questions. I told myself that once I earned enough, everything else would fall into place. Relationships could wait. Family could wait. Rest could wait. Life, I believed, would begin later. But life does not wait. I lost friendships without realizing it. People slowly stopped calling. Conversations became shorter. Smiles became polite instead of warm. I noticed it, but I ignored it. I told myself they were jealous. I told myself they didn't understand my ambition. The truth was simpler. I had stopped valuing them. There was one friend in particular, someone who stood by me when I had nothing, someone who believed in me before anyone else did. One argument changed everything. I spoke words I could never take back, words driven by ego, not truth. I waited for him to apologize, convinced I was right. He never did. Years passed. I thought about calling him many times. Each time, my pride stopped me. And then one day, I heard he was gone. Just like that. No goodbye. No second chance. That was the first crack in the wall I had built around myself. Then there was love. I thought love was automatic. I thought it survived on feelings alone. I didn't understand effort. I didn't understand listening. I didn't understand presence. I was busy chasing tomorrow while ignoring today. I postponed conversations. I delayed apologies. I assumed love would wait. It didn't. Love leaves quietly when it feels unheard. When that relationship ended, I blamed fate. I blamed circumstances. I blamed everything except myself. Only later did I realize how many moments I had ignored, how many chances I had wasted. Still, I didn't slow down. I told myself pain was the price of success. I convinced myself that sacrifices were necessary. Even when the sacrifice was my own peace. At night, when everything became quiet, doubts crept in, but I silenced them with noise, work, ambition, distraction. I didn't want to sit alone with my thoughts. Silence felt uncomfortable because it reflected my mistakes back at me. I was moving fast, but I was moving away from myself, and I didn't realize it yet. But life was preparing to teach me its first real lesson, that speed without direction only leads to exhaustion. Loss changes a man in ways success never can. It began quietly, not with one big moment, but with many small realizations, missed gatherings, empty chairs, conversations that no longer happened. I started noticing how alone I felt, even when surrounded by people. Money came. Recognition came, but peace did not. One evening, after a long day, I sat alone and asked myself a question I had avoided for years. Is this the life I wanted? I didn't have an answer. That scared me. I started reflecting on my past. Not proudly, but honestly. I saw patterns, I saw impatience, I saw arrogance disguised as confidence. I saw how often I had chosen being right over being kind. Regret arrived quietly, then stayed at first. Regret felt heavy. It kept me awake. It replayed conversations in my mind. It showed me alternate versions of my life. Versions where I listened more, spoke less, and slowed down. For a long time, I fought regret. I tried to escape it. But eventually, I learned something important. Regret is not punishment. Regret is a teacher. Once I accepted that, things began to change. I started listening, really listening, to people, to silence, to myself. I noticed how rushed everyone seemed, just like I once was. I noticed how little attention we give to the present. Moment. I began to understand patience, not as waiting, but as awareness, as presence, as respect for time. I remembered my father's words from many years ago. He once said, "Life is like a river. You cannot force it to move faster, but it will shape everything it touches at the time." I laughed. Now, those words echoed in my mind daily. I started reaching out to people I had neglected. Some responded, some didn't. I accepted both. Not every door opens again, and that is another lesson life teaches slowly. I learned humility through apology. Saying I was wrong felt uncomfortable at first, but it also felt freeing. With each apology, a weight lifted. With each honest conversation, I felt closer to myself. I began appreciating small moments, morning light, quiet meals, simple conversations. Things I once considered insignificant became precious. I realized happiness is not loud. It does not announce itself. It exists quietly, waiting for you to notice it. Ambition still lived within me, but it had changed. It was no longer about proving myself. It was about building something meaningful, something balanced. I understood that success without peace is failure in disguise, and slowly, without realizing it, I began to live differently. Today, when I look back, I don't see my life as a series of mistakes. I see it as a long lesson, one I had to learn step by step. I understand now that life is not a race. It is a journey of awareness. Every phase teaches something different, and no lesson arrives before its time. I have learned the power of kindness, not as weakness, but as strength. Kindness softens hearts, including your own. A gentle word can heal wounds you didn't know existed. I have learned the importance of presence, being there. Truly there for people, for moments, for yourself. I have learned that time is the most honest teacher. It reveals truth slowly, but clearly. If I could speak to my younger self, I wouldn't scold him. I would simply tell him to slow down, to listen more, to love without conditions, to understand that life is not something you conquer. It is something you experience, and that is why I share this story with you, not to impress you, not to burden you, but to guide you. If you are young, listen carefully. Do not rush through life. Do not ignore the people who care for you. Do not trade peace for pride. If you are struggling, know this: it is not too late. Reflection can begin at any age. Growth has no deadline. And if you're older, like me, then smile gently at your past. Thank it for the lessons, even the painful ones. Life is told slowly. Its meaning reveals itself quietly. And those who learn to listen will understand what truly matters. Take your time. Be kind. Stay present. That is the wisdom my life gave me. And now, I pass it on to you.